Hey family, your nephew Willie Mo Jr. here. Listen, beautiful day to have a beautiful day. Welcome to the Love You More show. It is truly an honor when I get an opportunity to sit down with greatness. You're going to get a chance to experience that great person in a moment, but not before I tell you one amazing thing. I need you to subscribe. Okay, here's the thing. I know that a lot of y'all, you kind of pop in, kind of look or whatever, but I actually want you to join the community and just kind of hang out with us and like really make an investment of time to hang out with us because we're going to dive deeper. We got a lot of great guests that are coming. A lot of great information is coming. And KD, we starting to drill down, you know, what we represent, who we are. Of course, we come from the scripture, Mark 8:31 with the Love You More show, where the Bible tells us that we're to love our neighbor as we love ourselves. And I just noticed that throughout life, you know, so many people, they don't actually love themselves. But we believe if we kind of rectify that thing, make everything good, you'll love your wife more. You'll love your husband more. You'll love your children more. Our communities will get better. So I'm encouraging you to love you. Come on, say it with me. More. Praise God. Well, today, big day. I'm talking about huge day. I get a chance to hang out with somebody that I watched for a very, very long time. Sounds a little creepy, but it's not like that. She's just like a mega star as it pertains to music. I remember before I bring her, like, introduce you to her, I remember I was really trying to come up in the gospel world. Of course, I was fresh off of the Pretty Willie world, and they were just sending me around just to different places for promo stuff. And I was just like, you know, I'm used to making money in clubs. This is unique. They were like giving me crosses and like no money. But I ended up in LA, and it was only a few gospel artists that I knew. And it was the pretty girls, the Mary girls. And I thought their name was Mary. Okay, let me just be honest with you. And I remember we were like at Six Flags or something, and I seen Mary. I was like, that's Mary and that's Mary. I never really understood why their mom would like name them Mary and Mary, but I figured George Foreman named all his kids George, so hell, I guess it was okay. And so I think I went up to now I know as Tina. I said, Tina, I said, Mary, can I take a picture? She was like, Mary? I was like, yeah. She was like, Mary off today. I'm gonna be honest with you. But we ended up meeting the other sister who I found out was actually Erica Campbell, and she ended up taking a picture with me, and my heart palpitated, and we had a moment. Who would think, you know, almost 15 years later, that I get an opportunity to call her friend and colleague. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Erica Campbell. What's going on, sis? I mean, Mary.
I'm good.
Hey, Mary.
Listen, hey, I say hi to all of it. It's all good. I don't think I've ever heard that story before.
Yeah, no doubt. I was in LA. It was for something. They had like a gospel thing at Six Flags or something like that, or one of the things. And I was like, oh, that's the, you know what I'm saying? Because back then, of course, you know, I was like, that's the pretty gospel people right there. And I was like, that's Mary. And in my head, I'm like, that's Mary and that's Mary. Hey, right, Mary.
Both of them.
Tina looked me right in the face and said, no, Mary is off today.
Oh, yeah, Tina's always been very good with boundaries. Me, not so much.
No, Mary is off today. And then I came to you. I was like, hey, how you doing? Actually, I'll take a picture. And I think the wife was in like Vibe magazine that week or something. She's like, you were on I was like, go ahead. So,
wow.
I love you, Tina, but she was my favorite Mary because she gave me a hug. She gave me a hug.
I did. Yeah. I did. That is hilarious.
So, Erica, I want to be honest with you. You know, the way we do it here on the Love You More show, Love You More also has a series that it also has. And so traditionally, you know, shows will come on, we'll begin to talk. But we use music as an icebreaker. So we know you have a new album.
I do.
And we're going to talk about that. But I want to use this song. It's called Save Room for Me to be the icebreaker to the conversation that I want to have with you.
Okay.
Indeed. Check this out.
Is there anybody out there ever lost a loved one like me? Oh, God. Is there anybody out there ever lost a friend like me? Oh, God. Is there anybody out there who needs to forgive God like me?
Let's keep it real. Last question.
Is there anybody out there, cried itself to sleep like me?
Erica, you know, I was thinking about the woman that you've become, and it was a song on your album when you guys were screaming out Eddie, you know. And so I just want to kind of run back 2013.
Yeah.
And you get the news that Eddie's gone. And here's like your father, because I see how you honor your husband. Like, what part of Eddie became kind of the blueprint of how you honor men in terms of relationship, friendship? Like, what part of Eddie did you take into your marriage to say, I'm going to be honorable in this particular way? Let's just talk about Eddie for a little while.
So that's really complicated because my dad was this great, big personality, very charismatic. He would always light up a room. The classic women loved him, men wanted to be him type vibe. I remember watching him preach and the way he would articulate the word and give it life and this fresh meaning was always just amazing to me. So when I stopped seeing my parents as parents and I started seeing them as people and I started realizing their brokenness and their issues was not reflective of me, because I think every kid that goes through issues with their parents, you know, having problems in their relationship, you take blame first. If I was a better kid, I was 13, I think the first time they broke up. Now they broke up 3 different times.
When you say broke up, is that like
divorce?
Just divorce.
And got back married again.
3 times.
Then divorced again. Then got back together again. Daddy came back again. The last time he left, I said, Daddy, don't. If you come back, you better stay. If you gone, stay gone, because this is too much for my heart. We can't take it. By this time, we're married by now. Yeah. So the last court case, we all went together, and it's very interesting. So I saw my mother still operate from a place of respect, which I thought was weakness. Every time she would allow him to come back, every time there was a family event and she was still making his plate, I'd be like, he chose what he wanted, and you over here still. Yeah. But I saw respect and honor in ways that I had never seen it out in the world. I seen it in my house. And after my father passed, when I found out he had passed, I was in a mall in LA. And somebody called and said Daddy was gone. And I just remember running through that mall screaming, no. Just screaming, God, no, running through the mall. And I got to my car and I just took a deep breath. And of course, the pain and all the things that come with that and the processing. And we were in the middle of filming the reality show.
Were cameras there then, or you were by yourself? Good, okay.
No, but the cameras were there when some other conversations happened, and we happened to be in the Bahamas, actually on One Love cruise.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I had also just started doing solo stuff. I had just had Zaya. We had just launched the church. So there was a lot of...
At the same time.
All this in my life. What I learned from my dad is strength. Yeah. Oh, he would always say, if you faint in the day of adversity, your strength is small. He said it all the time.
Say that again.
If you faint in the day of adversity, your strength is small.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. And so
I like Eddie already.
Yeah. So I always learned to kind of bear down when it got tough. Even now to this day, like if something chaotic happens, I get quiet first. And then I take a deep breath. Now I may panic and cry and stuff later, but if first in the moment, I'm not a scream. I'm not that kind of girl. I just kind of get quiet first. And I learned that from my dad. Yeah. But lessons from my mom and dad were kind of intertwined because like I said, I think I was about 16 when I realized they're people. Yeah. They are human beings.
So how did that affect the way you view God? Because like he's youth pastor and doing all of that. And then of course mom just, solid in the word, doing what she's doing. Like you're 13 years old. And like, I really want to kind of hone in on that 13 age because there's so many families that experience divorce or they experience that. And then the main issue is like the children. Yeah. Like, okay, so how do I make it okay for the children? So how did Eddie speak to you? Like, how did he pour into you from a distance? What did that look like for you?
I never doubted that God was real. Okay. I never doubted that he cared overall. But I didn't know that he cared very much about how I felt individually. Yeah. Because when things didn't, we were poor, we moved a lot, literally about 15 times. I didn't always go to the same schools. You know what I'm saying? We was cute, but we was poor, so clothes was raggedy. You know what I'm saying? So, it was a catch-22. She cute, but her shoes raggedy type vibe. Yeah. So you're 13. I'll never forget, it was guests, but I couldn't afford guests, so I had Just And so I was walking down the hall.
Wait a minute, it might have been before my time.
Just jeans.
Just jeans. Okay, go ahead.
But it had
baby.
the same little triangle.
Oh, so
and
that
so
was
this
the kind of
dude,
the knockoff.
the knockoff. So this
Praise
dude was
Lord.
behind me and he was going, just what? Just what? I was like, what are you talking about? He was like, just because your pants, they ain't guess. And so everybody laughed. But again, my dad told me, I was like, just what? Just keep watching me, that's all. And so I kept walking. So I was quick. You know what I mean? Feet. Oh, she thinks she cute. No, you think I'm cute. That's why you said it. But it's okay. Have a good day.
Come on.
So I always
talk, beloved.
You know what I mean? I always knew how to, and that was from my dad. My dad was very sarcastic. We didn't grow up in a house where he was, even though it was 7 girls, he wasn't like tender and fragile with us.
Yeah. No boys?
My oldest brother.
Oh, so you do have older brothers?
Yes, okay. But he was gone and grown.
Okay.
And so like if somebody dropped and fell, and hurt, not hurt themselves, but he'd be like, nice move, Grace, pick it up. You know what I'm saying? So he was always, so we weren't very tender, timid. Yeah. We was like, it wasn't like, hey, sissy. Like we wasn't, that was like, all right, dummy, what, stupid? Like it was that. That's bad. It's not good. I know.
So how did that affect the communication when you got married? Like did that travel over? Like, because if you were that quick on your feet with just jeans, I can only imagine if you leave some socks on the floor.
Well,
come on, let's talk about it. I just want to, I'm kind of just wanting to know, like, because I'm trying to like get this beautiful parallel of where you came from, how it happened. 13,
I love you and all that.
Because now we in an album that like really says I love you.
Yeah.
Y'all looking like relationship goals, but how did that reflect? Yes. Like, how did those actions subconsciously reflect on what you became as a wife later on?
So, our courtship, relationship, friendship was interesting. But I was always very focused. I remember we were making the Thankful record. We were literally working on the song Thankful, Lord, I'm thankful for working on that.
Yeah.
We was having some bumpy times and he was like, I just need some space. And so, I said, okay. But we were supposed to be at the studio the next day.
Yeah. And
so he said he needed space and I'm, crying like within myself because I'm too cool to let him know that.
But you don't cry.
I do.
I'm saying you didn't cry then. He didn't know what you were feeling.
But I was like, okay, space. What time do I have to be to the studio tomorrow? Like, I didn't care nothing about space. I was like, I wanted to sing longer than I loved you. So I'll take space. But what time am I at the studio, though? Yeah. So that's kind of always been my vibe. I'm going to get done what I need to get done.
Yeah.
So fast forward to us being married. And then there's no switch in your back that says you know how to be a husband or your wife.
Mm-hmm.
There is no book that can accurately tell you how to love this person. People can tell you their experience. You can see people, you can watch people, but until you get in it, you don't know. Y'all come from 2 different households, 2 different lives. His family is just him, his mom and dad. That's 4 people. I got 1,000 people. So I'm always thinking of others. If you are an only child, you're not constantly thinking of others. That's foreign to you. Mm-hmm. So you may think someone is invading your space.
Right.
When they automatically do. He had a problem when we put my hand in his plate. And I just could not understand what's the problem. Because I grew up with hands in my plate all the time. Let me have some of that.
Yeah, let me. Yeah.
And he was like, I will buy you your own. I said, you really don't want to share with me. Why should I be your wife if you don't even want to share with me? I mean, what's the problem? It's
that
food.
Was
you
like
can afford it, right?
To the words. Why should I be your wife?
Food? Always. Always. I'm going to take it too far in a nice way. Though.
Oh my God, that Erica Campbell take it too far.
Oh, yes. So, he's in the studio. He's really becoming Warren Campbell. Yeah,
the producer.
Our first house that we built was a 8,000 square foot house with all of this stuff, a pool, a basketball court, and I'm working and he working and we gone all the time.
Oh, wow.
So I'm like, I could leave this house for 6 months and he wouldn't even know. I said that to a lot of people around him because I truly believe that. But what I now know is he didn't know how to operate. I'd be at home and he on his way home from the studio and I'm up in the room. I'm posted up. I'm sexy. I'm cute. And I'm thinking he gonna come up going, hey, E.
None.
The door open. Okay. Maybe
Studio.
He got something to drink. And okay, he went in the kitchen first. Okay, that's fine. I'm still waiting. I'm posted up. And then I hear the TV come on. Okay, maybe he want to check sports. The video game. The video game first?
What game?
I don't know. Madden, something.
Yes,
I don't know.
Come on. Hey, listen, to those of you who don't understand his gripe, it's something that happens with men when we at that age. Sorry.
We got married. He was 25. I was 28.
Yes, Lord.
So we're young, right?
Oh, so you're a little...
But I didn't know. Yeah, I'm 3 years older than him. And I had been in serious relationships.
Go ahead. A little bit. Go ahead.
He was my 3rd ring. So I had been engaged twice. Yeah.
Did you say yes to any of those guys or no?
I said yes and then I said no. The first one I said yes because I was like, oh, that's mean to say no. So I'm going to say yes.
So do you see the parallel? So your dad, like he... 3 times. You was kind of married 3 times. It worked You see what? He did? You see that? No, but go ahead. The third one worked.
The third one worked.
Okay.
Yes. So I pray. I would always make sure that I was asking God, even though the first one I took the ring, gave that ring back. The second one, it seemed real. Preacher's kid, church family, in music, all of that.
Did you meet his family?
Knew his family well.
Oh,
My
that's gotta
sister
suck.
has a baby by his first cousin. So our families were intertwined. And he was a big deal and I was a big deal. So it was like, ooh.
You're a bigger deal now, evidently.
We planned the wedding. I had the dress.
Yeah.
My girls had their giving money. We had the venue at the church. Caterer was paid. And I said, Lord, am I doing the right thing? God was quiet. He didn't say yes or no. It was just quiet.
Yeah.
I didn't get the affirmation. I didn't get the confirmation. I wasn't getting it from the people around me that I believed in. And so I fell in love with my favorite scripture, Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not to your own understanding, but in all your ways acknowledge him and he'll direct your path. I remember the day I knew I couldn't marry him and I told him I was actually...
What happened when you realized that, hey, this not going to work?
I had to tell him I can't marry
what
him.
happened? Like, did he say something wrong? Did his breath stink? Did he chew with his fork like this too much? Like, what was it?
We were talking about music.
Okay.
And, I'm from LA, so I'm a little more lax. He's from the Midwest. I dress different. My vibe is different. What's okay with me is different. And he was saying, well, if you're going to live here, we only going to survive on a 2-income home. And I said, well, you can't take care of me? You know what I mean? I was like, I'm making money. I'm singing. I do this. And he was like, you'd have to get a real job. And I was like, my singing is a real job.
Oh.
And so, then he was like, well, you could sing in my dad's church. And I was like, yeah, my visions are a little bit bigger.
The visions didn't align.
Yeah. So beautiful guy, still friends to this day.
Oh, still friends?
Yeah, still friends to this
Would've
day.
never
His
talked
wife.
to you again.
You wouldn't have?
Never.
No.
Oh, you'd have been a fable. She's like, you know her? Did you pick up the album? Never.
No.
Petty like that.
It was so I've always been able to be very mature even in my breakups.
Okay.
Even in the breakups, I know how to say, I'm sorry it didn't work. One dude played me and I was like, give me some. You got me. You won't give me again though. Yeah.
I'm not going to deep dive in that.
Don't dive in that way. Okay, fast forward back to being married. So I'm married. We're trying to figure it out. Newly married. I'm still on the road. We don't even have kids yet.
No kids.
But in my mind, it was supposed to be a certain way. It was supposed to be a certain thing. And it wasn't that. Yeah. Thank God for Mom and Dad Campbell. Thank God for people around me that was praying for me. Even two of his really, really good friends to this day, they was like, yo, man, he loves you. He just, he young. He don't know how to. Yeah. I was like, man, please, I could be gone 6 months. He'd be like, something different around here. He hates when I tell that story. He really does. But it's true. I love you, babe, though. We good. 23 years. We're fine. But yeah, you don't know. You don't know how to be married. So for
I'm
real.
so late with that. Do you get this?
That's what I felt.
Hey, something different around here. Somebody missing.
That's what I felt. Like if you could come home and go play a video game, you got a whole wife upstairs and she cute and you ain't gonna come say hi. But he wanted to play his video game. That was his normal. Come home from the studio. Yeah, you do. And getting married is merging your normals. What you would usually do, what he would usually do. Most times women have this big, we're going to be this, and guys don't really have that. Right. So they go on living their life, right? Exactly. Y'all have to learn how to be a married couple together. What does that look like? Well, how does that feel? Yeah. I was used to a lot of family, so I was always having my family over, and I know he was sick of it. Yeah. And I'm super churchy. One day he came home, and I decided to bless the house, but I didn't tell him. So he came in, it was church praying people all over the place. Bless oil all over. He was like, I just want to play my video game and walk around in my drawers.
Poor Warren.
Yeah. So I had to learn. He had to learn. Yeah. Luckily for us, we stuck together because the last message that my dad told me, he said, the reason it was 3 times is because I kept trying to figure it out. Yeah. He said, I kept trying to make it work. Yeah. He said, he was like, for some reason, me and your mom, our communication didn't work. He said, but I love her and she loved me. Mm-hmm. And I kept coming back because my family was what I wanted. Yeah. He was like, so I always want you to know that. He called me Plum. He was like, Plum, I always want you to know that.
Plum.
Be good to your husband. He would tell me and Tina that. Be good to your husband. It's going to be tough, but be good to your husband. He was always very clear that my mom was good to him and she honored him. Yeah. whenever they were together, you could feel their sparks. You could feel their intent, touching each other. They didn't mind public displays of affection. And everybody knew that about Tommy and Eddie. And even in the end of his life, when he had married somebody else at the funeral, it was still about Tommy and Eddie. Everybody that got up talked about, because Tommy and Eddie this, and they prayed for us, and they were a great example, and they poured into our lives, and they encouraged us. And so knowing the diversity of their life, but still that being the story, what I took from that is you can go through tragedy and all those issues and still serve God, and God will carry you through.
Praise God.
Now I know we're in a newer day and time, and people are like, I'm going to take a whole month off, and I'm going to do that. And I'm adjusting to that mindset, but I was raised to know and understand and truly believe and have been an example of God carrying you through. Most of my most traumatic times, I was either on tour or with a camera in my face.
Jeez.
Having babies, learning somebody gonna fire me, all kinds, just a camera in my face.
Smiling the whole time. Can't give up, not crying for real.
Now. Yep.
Come on, did y'all just hear Erica Campbell just blow that little bit right there? Oh, I felt that in my shana. Nah, child. I want to go to your voice, but I do want to stick right here. So you turned out well. Tina turned out well. Of course, there were some different things that were aired out that she chose to really tackle head on. I thought that was beautiful. Were there any, in the family, did anybody else have some different effects of divorce 3 times? Because you were solid in the word of God, but do you see any of the residue of that decision with some of your other siblings?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
A lot of them marriage, I'm cool.
Yeah.
He can't make up his mind. We're trying to figure out. And I'm supposed to just sit here and just be a good wife and wait till he come back. Or I'm just supposed to pray and everything going to be fine.
So it's kind of like, I'm not finna be like.
But I'm not doing that. You're going to act right day one or you're done. You know what I mean?
So real short.
What would you say? I let that rub off on me. That was me for a season.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I called my business manager. I was like, no, how much money do I have by myself? Okay, I'll give him the BMW back. He had just bought me a BMW for my 30th. So 30th, we'd only been married 2-3 years. I was like, yeah, I'll give him this back. Okay, you can have his house. Okay, I can get a condo. I can move over here. Okay, we can still marry. I can meet you at the studio. It's fine. You move, I move. We good.
Yeah.
I was like, let's go. And I would say, I cried really good for about a week, maybe 2. And then
that is Eddie's daughter. I tell you that much.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I just never seen that. I mean, I knew it was in there because of geographically where you from. When I lived in LA, I used to buy my weed in Inglewood, just being honest. And just knowing that you from there, I did.
I never bought weed in Inglewood.
I mean, it's good because you were in church. I was not in church. I was with DJ Quick and the rest of the guys. I was the runner guy. So I was real good. And I was like, you from Inglewood? What street?
Listen, 111th Street.
Yeah. But no, I really wanted to really hone in on that because now as we fast forward, it's like now it just seems like God has reconciled so much. I even seen in one interview, and not honing on different things that happened in your relationship, but there was a profound statement that came out of it. You were with Tamron Hall, and you talked a little bit about Warren's unfaithfulness, and it was some words that stuck out to me, and I said, that is the way that a woman is supposed to love a man. You said he made a bad decision. Well, he wasn't a bad guy. He was a good guy who made a bad decision. And I was like, praise Jesus then.
Yeah, I said he's not a mistake. He made a mistake.
He's not a mistake. But it was
he's not a mistake. He made a mistake.
So for a woman of your stature, I mean, you married. To me, your name was Mary, and you could pretty much have anything that you wanted at the time. You have your money, you have your cars, you have your status. You probably can't go nowhere without some guy with brute on, smell like, hey, what's up, girl? Whatever. How did you mature into that version? Now that I understand who Eddie is, now that I understand that you have a quick fuse of conversation and you can say what you want, how did you choose to take on that trajectory instead of just choosing to say, I'm me. I don't have to do with none of that. I don't care if I ain't there for 30 days and 30 nights, 50 years. You never supposed to. How did you not go to the pride and decide to live in the humility? What was that process?
Because ego means EGO, ease God out.
Yeah.
If I ease God out of this part, then welcome him into the next part, I'm off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I truly believe God. I know or knew that God put us together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if I believe that God put us together, then even when it gets rocky, God is the one that holds us together. If I lean into my hurt and my pain and let that override the purpose that I believe that is Warren and Erica and the Campbells and all that we do, I miss it because I become a little selfish and self-centered. It is very easy to get into your ego for men and for women because you'd be like, it's what I am. Well, a marriage was never about me as an individual in the first place.
Amen.
So when you get to the difficult point, if you make it about you, you're always going to make something that serves you and not the marriage.
Yeah.
And so it was all about trusting God. And I remember saying something to him that he honored and made big in our lives. And I said, if you can love me back to you, then we can do this.
Come on, love me back.
Love me back to you. And he said, what does that mean? I said, I don't know because I didn't tell you how to fall in love with me. You just did.
Well,
I didn't give you a ruled book
What
to
he do,
follow.
child, to make you come on back? Tell me.
Oh.
Like, what was some of the things? Because this a dude right now. Like, this is what I understood. And this is no disrespect to anything that, my former person or anything. But it's like God now puts me in this position where there are so many men who are on the brink of divorce or separation or breakup. And they call me almost like, so how did you, and what were you thinking through this? And I would say, well, let me just hear like how you feel about it. And I hear men and they just like, man, she's a part of my vision. And I just love her so much, man.
Yeah.
And I don't even know what to do. And I was just like, you need to go home, champ.
If you love her, tell her that.
If you love her, like, let's run that play. And then I meet other men, it's just like, well, man, it was like this, and this. And I was just like, well, how long has it been? And I can kind of, having so many men to come to me now, and you know who you are, I ain't gonna put you on blast, praise Jesus. But I know now what it looks like when a man is truly in love. She is a part of his fabric. He like, it ain't putting on for the city.
Sidebar, let me say this. I love men who go to men.
Yeah.
I love men who go to their circle, their village, to strengthen them, to give them wisdom on how to walk through and how to get through. And I definitely know that was part of the way that we were able to heal. It was the circle, it was the people around us. But here's what I believe, and here's where I struggle with the decision that people choose to make. Mm-hmm. If you have stood before God and you made these promises and you made these commitments and you've been a God couple and God can, and you're telling everybody and he can put the pieces of your life back together, except this. Mm-hmm. I just have a problem with that. And so many preachers and people they are people of faith, and you live your life trying to compel men to come to God because of what he is able to do, the miraculous, the impossible. There's nothing too hard for him. Except for this. Mm-hmm. He can't redeem this. He can't fix this. So I just felt like I would be a hypocrite if I operated in that space. And I knew he loved me. And I knew that I loved him. And I knew, I recognized what I saw in him. And because I believe in being honest and being real, he asked me if I could come home to spend some more time with him. And I was like,
I'm on the road. We making money every single night, living life and live.
I
got 3 flights Tuesday.
He asked me to come home and I said no. I was like, you gonna hand walk me into this career? Oh, now you want me to?
See, that Eddie mouth.
Don't do that.
See, that's why the Lord made me want to talk to Eddie, because I can get a better understanding, because daughters love their dad.
Yeah. But I had an attitude with my dad a lot of years, though. A lot.
Yeah, you got that attitude.
I remember when he, he was talking to some lady. I don't know who she was, and she brought her to church, and I wasn't very nice to her.
Yeah, I can see that. I see your eyebrows went down. You seen it in your shot.
Yeah, but I asked God to forgive me because I want to make it to heaven for real. I don't want to get up there and I go to hell on a technicality. Yeah. Just because you was mean and you didn't show the love of Jesus. I don't, if you told me what I'm supposed to do, if you put it in your word, and because culture says one thing, I make a decision, and God, you have to understand, but it's 2023. Yeah. I'm like, I just want to stand before you, and I want my heart pure and my hands clean. That's so good. My decisions and how I treat people and how I do that. So honoring my father, even though him and my mom was going through, and the different things that I've faced in life, even having a manager who's suing me and has our name, I still was like, we still gonna get this right.
We're gonna get this right.
And I've become friends with people who technically should be
your
on my off list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna learn how to do that. Like, I'm so thankful that you said that. But Erica, I do gotta ask you this, because I want to go back to like honoring God and doing that. I want to go back to that second proposal with that guy who you went all the way. You went all the way through. You got your dress. You got with the family. You did this.
We had the date and
but you had the spiritual upbringing, right?
Yes.
To know, like, let me lock in God, because I'm not hearing anything from the right side or the left side.
Right.
Let's hypothetically say that you chose that decision. but all the signs showed you that you weren't supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
And you living out your faith, but deep down on the inside, you have that root of you hearing nothing from God, but all the signs are saying, this is not what you're supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
Does Erica live out the truth of she heard and felt the unsettling?
Mm-hmm.
Or does she make a strong decision from herself because it wasn't supposed to happen in the first place?
So I have to acknowledge the village around me at that time.
Mm-hmm.
My usual process was go to everybody and ask them what they think.
Yeah.
Elder Thompson, that was my youth pastor.
Yeah.
All right, Elder Johnny, what you think? You know, then I would go to my mom, and then I would go to my Aunt Teresa, who was my first lady, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I would go to Sister Kennedy. She was the prayer warrior. I would talk to everybody. Nobody would say, Erica, marry him. But they wouldn't say, don't marry him either.
Yes.
They would say, honey, pray about it.
Yeah.
So the closer I got, I think it was somewhere maybe around, because I called it off maybe 2 months before. I was supposed to get married in August. It was about June. And I was out there and I was visiting him. And my uncle called. He said, I just want to know what's the hurry.
That's
He
what my
said,
daddy
just take your
told me.
time.
That's
He
my
said,
daddy
that's what's the
told me.
hurry. He said, if you love him and he love you, just take some more time. Just spend some time with the Lord. Just fast and pray and see what the Lord tells you.
Yeah.
And when he said that, I knew what he was saying without saying it, because I already was a little unsettled, because everything about my life and who I was would have changed, not just because I was marrying him, but moving just away. It just wasn't what God was calling for in my life. And you have to love and trust God. Like, we trust our fear more than we trust our faith.
Yeah.
You know, fear will tell you don't do it. You believe it at the first one. God will tell you to do something. You be like, say it again, Lord.
Yeah.
Say it in Spanish, Jesus.
Yeah.
Give me another sign. Put it in the clouds. Let it pop up on the internet. That's some mysterious message. You know, it's like
Something gotta happen.
we trust God, but then we don't. He tell us to do stuff and we be like, God, I can't do that.
But I'm glad you got obedience in the second, because I know so many people that will take on the pressure of buying the dress, getting everybody excited, hearing that same group.
Oh, I was embarrassed.
Like literally, but it's better than divorce.
Yeah, I was embarrassed.
Like that temporary embarrassment did not cause you the pain of having a child with a person,
right.
buying houses,
Right.
getting rich together, having to split all this stuff together.
Uh-huh.
And so I think that's a beautiful thing that really shows the character of you, your mother, and your father. Like,
Well,
what
I
has
was trying
been
to go
done.
to New York after that. My aunt lives in Rome, New York. And I was like, hey, Mom, I'm just going to
Rome.
go Rome. I'm going to go hang out with Aunt Barbara. She was like, no, you're not. I was like, yeah, I'm just going to go there for a while. And she said, baby, you can live anything down. You just keep living.
That's all you got to do.
She said, you can live anything. She just keep coming to church.
Mhm.
You ain't got to disappear.
You ain't got to have.
They got something too. Yours is just front and center right now. They could you can live. And so I just kept coming to church.
Yeah.
One of the good things about going through breakup, you lose a lot of weight. So I was really cute coming back to church.
Yeah.
And then the first fiance, the ex-fiance, was the organist for the church at the time. So then he tried to come back with his ring. I was like, God still said no. So I was just so embarrassed. Number one came back.
So you down number 2, number 1 came back, but number 3 came through. Come on,
Number
somebody.
3, yeah. So
Yes,
number
Lord.
3, yeah. And then what? Okay, this is
Did
gonna make
Warren
me
know
look bad.
about the 2?
It's gonna make me
Oh, it
look
was the
bad.
number 4 guy.
No, it wasn't the number 4.
Hey,
so
real talk,
me and
Kim
Warren are
said she on
together.
number 4.
I'm with
That's what she said.
not me.
It's a black man too. I seen him, met him. He said, "Oh,
That
good guy."
makes sense. She
Yeah, she kind of got soul now.
She
But go ahead.
So we're singing. I'm singing background for Brandy. We are in Hawaii.
The
Me and
R&B
Warren.
singer?
Uh-huh.
You was
Yeah.
background.
Yeah, I sang background for her, and Tina sang for Kenny Lattimore. I sang for Brian McKnight. We both sang for Eric Benet. So we're in Hawaii, and me and Warren are hanging out on the beach. I'm churchy, so I had no bathing suit on. I had a little skirt. And everybody laughed in here.
Skirt.
Because I'm churchy, I'm saved. I was still Kojic at the
Can
time.
y'all put a skirt on the screen for me? Because
A
I'm
skirt.
so lost. A skirt.
A skirt and shorts.
So you hide
It's a
stuff.
skirt, but it's a shorts, but it's a skirt. That's what church girls wear on the beach when you really say. Listen. It's
I'm
church
done.
girls now, they wear thongs and bend over in front of the world. I don't get it. They'll prophesy and then show you they behind.
They will.
Okay, different subject. Okay, all right. We're at the beach, and I get this is how long ago it was. My pager, I
get
get
a
a
beep.
page. I got a beep.
Yeah.
From number 2. That is so weird. to
Was
be
it
called
on
number
vibrate
2.
or was it on beat?
It was on, it might have vibrated.
You
And I
like,
was like, I'm gonna make a call. So I went back and I made the call. He was like, where are you? I was like, I'm in Hawaii. He was like, oh, you with that dude, Lauren? I said, Warren. He was like,
Lauren.
oh. Yeah, he was being funny. He was like, so you really like this guy? I said, yeah, I do. He's like, you really in Hawaii? I said, excuse me, sir. where are we? He was like, Honolulu. He was like, oh, okay. And then he got a little low self-esteem in his voice. He was like, all right, well, I'll talk to you later.
You ain't talk to him no more?
Did we talk again? I mean, like I said, I stay connected. We were.
That's so dope, E.
We were
I don't think I
friends.
met this E like that.
Yeah, people don't know that
No, that's
side.
really cool. Like, you know, the one thing that I love, I think is so beautiful when you see humanity and Christianity take this beautiful collide, you know, because I think it's something beautiful. And I got to pull this part out. I'm stuck on the fact that you made a strong decision for yourself and faced the embarrassment to get to the right thing.
Yeah.
Because what I'm noticing now is when I'm speaking to men, I don't know why this plethora of men are now coming. Like God was already giving dudes signs and women signs like, hey, this ain't what you're supposed to do. But like, man, I had already had bought the ring of this, that, and other.
Right.
And, you know, I will be honest with you, and you know, I don't think I've shared this, but I remember the day that I was about to get married, and I was living in Los Angeles at the time, and I had a deal with Warner Brothers. It was a very crazy deal.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm drinking and smoking a little bit too much, and like literally, I go to church, and I'm like, hey, we need to go to church. Like, you know, we just getting too high. Like, you know, in California, it's like, you want some water, you want some wine, you want some weed. It's like, it ain't even a bad thing. It don't smell bad. It's like, man, this is like the right thing to do. And I just realized I needed to go to church. I ended up going to a church, and I got more than I bargained for. And I just got really, really gung-ho. And I was like, bruh, I got to get everything in my life right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I got to,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? I'm so Jesus at this point.
Yeah.
Warner Brothers want me to sing Lay Your Body Down. I'm like, well, I'm not laying bodies down anymore. I want to marry somebody, you know what I mean? And it just so happened that, you know, you find this beautiful woman who's beautiful in, you know, in that moment. And I really divorced myself from Pretty Willie. Like, Pretty Willie had hurt me so much that I just wanted to live a normal life. I was like, I am done with that. Like, I'm so tired of it. I'm tired of pretending to be something. Like I'm tired of the disappointments that come with it. And she offered normality to me in that time. But after I healed, I was like, man, I actually really like this dude. Like, that dude is a part of me too. And then trying to introduce this guy to a person who never had met this guy was very uncomfortable for years and years. But I remember when I was about to get married, my daddy, you know, he 91 now, still love God, still cuss a little bit. You know, he just an old player. You know what I'm saying?
That's just self-control with his tongue.
Yeah. Oh, no, he gonna do that. He 91. Hell, ain't nothing changing with him at 91. He like, nigga, I know where I'm going, you know. And so we're sitting there, and the church is like a mile down, if that, 0.7 miles. And I'm sitting in there, my mama, everybody up there, I'm at the house, and I'm in the room, I'm just laying in the bed. And I'm thinking to myself, like, what am I doing? And I remember my dad said, man, I'm proud of you. I said, you are? He said, yeah. He said, but you know I'll be proud of you even if you choose not to do this. Everybody gonna be all right. Here's the thing, son. I think you might be choosing the right woman. I just think you're choosing her at the wrong time. You're still trying to figure out life. As a man, we're called to be priests, providers, and protectors. Hell, you don't even know where your life about to go, and you about to invite somebody into it. But I think you're gonna be okay. But you don't really have to do this. And then he walked out, and he came back. He said, but hey, let me tell you something else. Hell, marriage ain't like jail. If you want to get out, hell, you can get out. So let's go to the church house. And we laughed. I put my stuff on. I went and got married. I don't think nobody ever knew that because it was just me and dad. He wouldn't have did it if mama was there.
Yeah, he wouldn't have said
You know,
that
mama
from
was up there doing and pilling and doing all of that. And, you know, I often remember that conversation because, you know, not that she was the wrong woman. I just think it was the wrong time. And for me, like, I just really look at that number two person, who, like, it was like, man, like, because I was like you, I was adopted, so I had codependency on other people's opinions. So I was like, mama, what you think? Daddy, what you think? Hey, cousin, what you think? And it was just like, well, you know, whatever you want to do, champ. Like, I'm supporting whatever you're doing. Did you pray about it? You know,
yeah, because they don't want you to be able to come back to them and say, you told me not to do it.
You know what I mean?
You told me to do it. And that's what everybody said in my life. But I think as we evolve and become who we're becoming, we have to be okay with the transitions of our life. Like, who I was at 20 is not who I was at 30 or 40 or even 50. You know, it's a whole different woman. And I think the evolution of me and Warren, the evolution of our love, our ministry, our music, it's been fantastic.
It is. You smile for real too. I was like, you actually like him.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were just on the phone the other day, just talking about nothing and everything all at the same time for about 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And I had to go to bed because I had to get up to do the radio show. And he had an attitude that I had to get off the phone. Like, he kept trying to talk. I was like, babe, I'm going to call you tomorrow.
I got some work to do.
He was like, wait, but I just was trying to talk. And it was so cute and so sweet. And I love,
blushing, KD? You see that blush?
I love those moments. And then when I woke up the next morning, I called him early and he was still sleepy. I said, now how that feel? You see that, how that feel? And he cracked up laughing. I said, see, now when I'm sleepy, we're here for the rest of our lives. I got you, you got me. Let's give each other grace when we sleepy.
How supportive was he for this new version of the artistry that you have? Because your voice now I ain't saying that you wasn't cold. You really did good. But, it wasn't as strong as it is today.
Yeah.
Like, now I'm like, oh, she doing this at a drop of a dime. Like, for me, it's 3 elements that have now come in. Of course, anointing. I think you've always had that. Gifts work without repentance. You're going to do what you have to do. But now it's like powerful and confident. Like, now it's like this whole holy trinity of voices. Like, how much did he play a role in
Absolutely.
you really hunkering down? Did he speak certain things and you say, girl, you the coldest thing ever? Like, how does it work?
It was different than that.
Or was he Joe Jackson?
It was.
Was he Joe Jackson?
He would say, because you're naturally good, you're not practicing. You're not perfecting your craft.
Yeah.
He said the unfortunate thing that without rehearsal, you can get on stage and people can lose their mind. Without practice, without toning your voice and doing all the things, you get up and they screaming before you grab the mic.
Yeah.
When you gonna start practicing? So then when it started and it was all the things all at once, the church, Mary and solo career, and Zaya had just been born, and the radio show, my voice took a beating. And I was like, I hope my voice shows up. And in many days it did not. So I started going to a vocal coach to start being very intentional about my voice. Shout out to Robert Stevenson, my vocal coach, who has literally transformed my voice.
He did. I'm glad you said it. I did.
Yeah. No. Oh, I'm aware.
Oh, you killing it.
I would tell them, don't post the singing clips. But then the part of that is a perfectionist. If it was one note off, don't post it.
Oh, it's crystal now.
And so, I mean, but even now, it's not even that it's perfectly perfect and crystal clear. I'm just okay. You'll make a mistake one day. It's okay. You're still Erica Campbell. No one comes and takes awards. Thank you.
Friend, don't be humble on this. Don't take what I'm giving you right now. I ain't never heard your voice like this.
You know what? I have done the work. I heard Warren say something that I had never heard him say. And he was in an interview and he said, hers is my favorite voice. Oh, now I'm sure that's for a lot of reasons. You know what I'm saying? I make sure.
In different,
Let me make sure.
Come on.
It's your favorite voice.
It's still Eddie's daughter now.
Absolutely. No, but being intentional. I believe God gives us one body and it's our job to take care of it. You can't go to the lung store and get another pair. And unfortunately, we treat our body like trash and then just be like, oh, God, help me. Oh, God, my kidneys, my diabetes. But if you just change your diet and exercise, a lot of this will change. Yeah. Now, if you've done your part and you still have issues, okay, Lord, help me. But Lord help me, and you eating a bucket of chicken and spaghetti and pizza and fries with a soda and then ice cream and pie after, you get what you get.
You got it.
So when high blood pressure came, it's because I was eating how I wanted to eat. And I naturally have a good build. So, I could put on a Spanx and be okay. But then it starts showing up in other areas. I remember me and Tina were performing Never Wave My Flag. Never should have performed that song. For the Dove Awards. Yeah, that wasn't my favorite. But I was performing that and I had an excruciating headache to where I couldn't see and I could barely walk when we walked off stage. I said, take me straight to the hospital. They took me to the hospital. The Dove Awards is still going on. And they rushed me in when they took my blood pressure. I think the top number was, I don't remember the top number, but the bottom number was 200. Yeah. Dang. And yeah.
What?
And
he was on the brink of death.
That's what he said. He said, you are freakishly close to a stroke. And I was like, oh, well, I had to do the work. Did you eat? No. Did you drink water? No. And so that's when I started making serious changes.
Jeez.
Yeah, because I was like, I don't want to leave here early just because I won't take good care of my body. Mm-hmm. This temple is most important, not the awards, not the stage, not the invitations, not who I'm affiliated with, not the platforms. That's not the most important. This temple is the most important. My mind has to be right. My spirit and heart have to be right. It has to be coming from the right place. And so that is of utmost importance to me, that I
That's
am
so dope.
healthy with the lights on or the lights off,
Yeah.
that I am healthy when everybody's looking or no one's paying attention, that I have real moments of joy that are not connected to people's applause. So when you damage your body to go do something for them, then you living for them. This body is the temple of God. I honor you by taking good care of myself. So if I'm not well, I should be okay saying, hey guys, I need to take a moment. But I was like, we may miss something. We may miss an opportunity. And so I changed that and I started taking good care of myself.
Did everybody in the home support you in that?
1,000%.
By getting on board with
1,000%. If I'm
That's
going
kinda hard
vegan,
if somebody
the
else
whole
ain't
house
vegan.
going vegan.
Everybody going vegan.
Yeah.
I can see
When
that
we
you
fasting-
are a lot more than I thought, Lord.
But I'm not though.
No. It's something in there, praise God. Yes, Lord. You don't play.
Not.
I didn't know
You
you
know
know
what?
didn't play. I just didn't know. I
No.
thought you like, well, the Lord is just my shepherd and I shall not want. You was like, but if we don't get in line,
Listen. You know what? But part of it is when you grow up poor and you know what that's like, I don't want to go back there.
I don't ever want to go back there.
So what do I have to do to make sure I don't go back to that? I mean, Warren is taking great care
I was just
of
about
me.
to tell you, well, you are married to one of the biggest producers that
Yeah.
ever lived. But other than that, you might just want your own. Come on, somebody.
I
You want to contribute to the house.
Yeah, and I want my
Yeah.
girls to see that.
Yeah.
I want them to see me travel, but I want them to see me come home and make a plate for my husband.
Why haven't you sat down knowing that you guys are so free? Is it the purpose over just to prosper?
I feel like I have sat down.
Nah, friend.
I have.
You remember I told you backstage one time, I said, you are the only person I know who worked way harder than I work. And I'm a provider at this point, but
There's a joy in singing.
Okay.
I used
But
to
you
be
sing, radio,
on the top of my-
speaking. I seen you out there doing a whole lot more than that. AKA now, it's just a
Yeah.
lot of different places. But I guess, coming from poverty, Steve Harvey, he told me, because I
It
called him
affects
one
how
day.
you think.
He was like, nah. He said, man, listen here, Willie, let me tell you something. Of course, he said some words that I wouldn't say in front of the first lady. And he said, beep, he told me, don't get mad at God when he made your plate full. When there was a season, you begged him to eat.
Absolutely.
I was like, all right, bro, I'm going to call you.
Well, I say it like
Call you
this.
back.
The blessings of the Lord maketh rich and
Yeah,
addeth
it's
no sorrow.
Yeah.
Author, that's not sorrow.
Mhm.
That's the blessings of the Lord. My
Yeah.
family, my church, the radio, the music, touring, those are the blessings of the Lord.
I love it.
I tell people I wear a lot of hats. I don't wear them all on the same day.
Yeah.
I'd look crazy if I had to put them all at the same time. I'm not cooking dinner and on stage at the same time.
Yeah.
So when I'm home, and I'm not worried about what's happening tomorrow. I'll live fully 1,000% in the moment. The only thing that allows me to shift is when my kids call. I remember when I was doing the deal for the radio show, and I'm sitting there with David Cantor and all the people, all the powers that be, and Zaya FaceTime me. And I was like, one moment. Hi, honey. You okay? You need
All the
something?
time.
Are you okay? Mommy, I miss you. Okay, mommy's going to be home. I leave, but I'm what? And she says, you're always coming back. That's right. Mommy's going to be home soon. And so I make sure I make them a priority and that the people that work around me know sometimes the kids will be there. Sometimes she'll shift a little bit because if they need her, she's there. And when I'm not there, the village is strong, whether it's my mom, my mother-in-law, my sister, Warren picking up kids. Like Warren is that man at home putting it down. You hear me?
Come on, rub
He
your
was like, we
knees
got
like you
new-
did
he
last
said we
time.
got new
Rub your knees
toilets.
like you did.
He's like, I know you in like the bathroom toilet. We got new toilets.
Come on, new toilet.
I fixed the banister.
He fixed it.
Yeah, no, well, he got it fixed.
Oh, okay, praise Jesus, because I don't
He's
fix
like,
nothing.
something
I was going to
happened.
say,
He
if he can
got-
do music and fix and preach.
But he did that when I
ultimate
had
guy.
Wozy. We had just moved into that house and we didn't have furniture. When I came home from having Wozy, and I was only out of the house maybe a week. When I came home, we had all new furniture from top to bottom.
Okay.
He's always done.
Come on, we got to love Warren. Come on, let's
Stuff
just show
like
some
that.
love to Warren Campbell. We got to do that. Come on, everybody just show love to Warren
He loves
Campbell.
me well.
No, I love
He
it.
loves me well.
You know, I just want to I want to encourage everybody. I wanted to really show the love because the name of the album is I Love You.
It is.
And I think sometimes if you can hear the backstory of why a person loves so hard,
Mhm.
I do want to thank you. When I was in one of the toughest times in my life, you reached out and you was like, man, but what does God say? And I had to really seek the Lord. And, I do appreciate that, sending an olive branch during that particular time, whatever the outcome was, it just kind of let me know, at least I'm on somebody's mind. Because sometimes when you're in your darkest place,
Yeah.
you're just like, it don't really matter to nobody. Everybody thinks this way. They believe this way. And the enemy wants you to believe that that's the way that it's always going to be. So I do appreciate that. I want everybody to listen to this album, though. And I'm going to be honest with you. I don't really just get excited about many albums. But, man, you put together a really great body of work. like from top to bottom. Even the choices that you made in terms of the synchronization of how each song goes into what it is. You know, while you were going through this body of work, when you was riding and you was listening, because I know we listen to them demos before they get mixed. Was you like riding thinking to yourself, God, you did it this time? And like, were you really excited? Like when you heard
the messages hit me in the chest first. So it
Every
wasn't
time.
about, you know, thank you, thank you, thank you. Was literally like, this could have went another way. My life could have been something else. I could be somewhere else. Like, I thank you. You know what I mean? And then the Love You song the same way. Warren was where I was, you know, we have a studio in the room and he was up working and I was trying to go to sleep. Because I got the radio. Yes. And he was working. I heard, I love you, I love you, I love you. And while I was trying to go to sleep, when I heard him singing it, it was warm and it was special. And so I pulled the covers. I said, who was that one for? He said, I don't know. I said, it's for me. And I went back to sleep. I put my headphones on. But the record was made in this loving environment with a lot of gratitude, but a lot of honesty, recognizing the brokenness, recognizing the valleys he brought me out of, recognizing the times when I felt less than, not enough, overwhelmed. Is this it? You know, because when you come from a group as big as Mary Mary, and everywhere you go, that's all they ask you. So when you know, and the back is, they don't really want you by yourself. But God told me that you don't have a twin anointing. It's not like you're not anointed without her. That was something special that I did, and it's not over. But I'm showing you how to stand alone on your own 2 feet. Own it, love it, stand in your God-given authority, and do what I called you to do in a beautiful way. So I'm grateful for Mary Mary. I'm grateful to be a solo artist. So it's all coming from, it's all growth. It's record. Trust and obey. Show been good, positive, feel all right.
Come on, that trust and obey.
That trust and obey.
Let's just not slide over there. You put it right next to my song, Believe in Love, so I couldn't stay too secular too long. And it was the most angelic voice. It's one is at the end when you say amen, and I didn't know it was a prayer. Yes. I didn't know it was a prayer till like the 13th time that I listened to it.
Yes. So my friend Willie Collins, that was the one that I didn't write that one. That was solely given to us by one of Warren's best friends, Gromiko Collins. And when he gave it to me, it did me that way. It was like, oh.
It was like that was a prayer.
Because how many times do we not trust him?
Yeah.
How many times do we disobey him? You know what I mean? And we lean in the grace and we lean in the forgiveness. But my mom would always say, yeah, God can save you from some things. But what if he don't have to save you out of everything?
Man, I'm so tired of being saved up out of everything. I don't know what to do.
Like, let me just save you from some things.
Yes, Lord.
Like, I could get you out and I'll redeem you. But sometimes I want you to choose the right way.
Yeah.
Sometimes I want you to choose obedience, even when it's difficult.
Yeah.
Even when everybody, like, remember that tragedy of the families being killed in that church and church people being mad because they chose to forgive? Forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes, indeed.
Like, he stay forgiving us. Yeah. And we have a problem when it comes to forgiving other people. But when we obey God, God's way gets God's results. And I believe that. And I'll say that anywhere.
That God's way is God's results.
I should. You're real good at t-shirts.
I'm going to get you a straight large, though, because you're not finna wear them little clothes out like that.
Yeah, you wear the little clothes. Everybody judging you. Your little clothes.
Erica, I told you weren't going to tell nobody about that. We talked about that in there.
We did.
That's why I'm sitting down.
You be working out and stuff.
Praise Jesus.
The boys get away with everything. The girls can't do that.
They can't. I got your friend Misty with a press shawl on. Praise God. I said, Misty, we in Atlanta. Shout out to Misty now. Put something on that. Yes, Lord.
She ain't married. She can live her life.
But you know, we gonna do it.
He didn't find it this looking for.
Well, they be done find it that before they find it this great heart she had.
Well, you always gonna see me first. That's what I love about my upbringing.
Hey,
my mother.
You always gonna see me first. That's what I'm gonna start telling people. Well, listen.
You see me first. You don't see my Holy Ghost and my anointing. You see me. What do I look like? Did my breath stink? Humility. Is it something in my teeth? I could be cute. Yeah. My aunt would say, they coming because you cute. They gonna stay because you saved.
Come on.
They can come to church. All them boys gonna come. She saw them boys. We got cute girls at the church. Yeah, they coming because y'all cute, but they gonna stay because they gonna feel the power of God that's gonna change their lives.
I like your auntie. She married too?
She was married to my uncle for 400,000 years, and they loved each other.
They got any cousins, daughters, and sisters? No, I'm just playing. Anyway, listen, new album, I Love You. I believe it's going to be good. Let me just try to wrap it up and put a bow on this thing. I'm just reminded of Proverbs 16:9, where literally, I think and it's the Willie Moore Jr. version, of course, but it talks about us planning things in our heart, but God like orders the steps. He gives us the steps. I think what you heard today was a person who understood the plans of her heart that she had on the inside of her heart, but I just believe by faith that she was smart enough to ask God, what's the next step? Many of you all, as you sit there, I just believe so many times in our own flesh and even in our own like church, right? Like we church people, we do what we're supposed to do. You probably pray, you fast. To those of you who don't get to it, it really does a body good and a spirit well. But I want you to know that sometimes even in our Christianity, we allow our humanity to make our own personal decisions. And so I'm listening to a woman that whenever she got into a fork in the road, she was smart enough to do three things. She paused, she prayed, and she listened. She paused, she prayed, and she listened. She paused, she prayed, and she listened. It's so easy for me to tell you what to do, but it's really, really hard for many people to communicate how to do it. But I think what I pulled from it was she paused, she prayed, and she listened. And just like in Proverbs 16:9, when the Bible tells us that God orders those steps, right? And he puts those steps in place, I think it would be very smart of us to ask God, what's the next step? What's the next step? What's the next step in my relationship? What's the next step in my business? What's the next step in my next endeavor? Maybe the big question mark that you've been asking should be, God, what's my next step? And when he gives you the next step, it's just important to be obedient, no matter how embarrassing that next step may be. Because we are of no reputation, right? Like if we surrender our life to Jesus, we realize that our reputation is literally caught up in him, right? So I just want to challenge you right now as you listen. We had a really great conversation, but I want you to literally take those 3 steps and ask God. He listening to you. God, what's my next step? And I believe he'll give it to you. And the biggest room in the world, I always tell you, is the room for improvement. Take that next step and watch your life improve. All right. Family, I want to challenge you right now to make sure that you subscribe to this channel. Shout out to our Patreon people over there. They in the back scenes just hanging out with us. That's my community. I love you guys to life. If you want to be a part of their community, I'm going to probably open up about 100 slots, okay? So I want you to scurry over to loveyoumore.com. I'm going to keep it open for about 100 people. And after that, y'all can just chill because we got people in there that I'm really starting to enjoy, my Patreon family. So make sure that you go over there. Family, listen. It's all about making sure that you learn to love you more. I'm going to go take these little clothes off, and I'm going to see you next week since Erica said that I'm wearing